Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, but let's get caught up and let's talk about some questions on today's episode. So today, I'm 2 weeks out from my next contest. I haven't competed since Europe, so 2024. Took some time off. The wife and I are expecting, so I'm getting all my affairs and ducks in a row. But in the grand scheme of things, the fall was when I was planning to kind of work out. Of course, had a great summer. So I'm going to Bassano del Grappa in 2 weeks, where I'm going to be working towards the log record. Here to the side is going to be some log training I had today for that record. So I'm 2 weeks out. So I did my last really heavy workout. I did some working sets at 245. I did a quick 2x2, and I felt that should be sufficient for a 30-pound jump today. So I've been kind of ramping up. A couple weeks ago, I did 335 for reps, then 355 for reps, and then this week was 375 for reps. So my target was to do 375 for 3. And then I was thinking maybe a heavier double with 10 pounds more. So I hit 385 for a single, and then went for the second rep, and it just kind of slid down. So I got a little too sweaty. It's kind of a hot summer day here in Massachusetts. So even though it's got kind of been cooler lately, so the sweat caught up to me a little bit. But no excuses. Be better next time. Yeah, solid training. I'm going down there. I'm going for the log record. Italian log record, which is right now set at 170 kilos or 374 by Alessandro Castelli. So, 3-time Italy's Strongest Man winner. So, very cool record to go up against. And then I'm also going to be competing in the full show in Bassano del Grappa. So, there's going to be 3 events. There's the behind the neck jerk, which is the flavor of the year, especially for presses, especially for the most recurring event this year. Then we have the nickel stones or a Dinny stone carry, a deadlift, and also a truck pull. So going to be 5 events doing being overhead pressing. So it's going to be a fun day. So I'll leave in 2 weeks. Excited for that. And then following up that show, we'll be going for competing in my second Italy's Strongest Man. So that would be November 8th. So down in Vico Bassano, outside of Pisa. So I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know the events yet, but I'm getting back in a little bit in terms of kind of like a short competition prep. And then I'll probably be taking some time off as I get into the later of the year, and then soon approaching fatherhood. So I'm pretty excited for that, but that's a little bit of the update. But I've been at 315 lately, so I've been kind of heavier. I'm starting to lean out, which is good. So I'm still kind of molding in and taking the right time in order to really bring out my best. But these kind of Italian competition, I feel, is a good pathway, not only just in terms of like gain some confidence at a new body weight and be able to kind of move, but just different experience. It's always good to travel overseas. Some of my favorite moments and favorite contests are the ones overseas. So the last trip over to Italy competing was a blast. So I imagine these 2 trips are going to be as fun as well. But let's get to your questions. You guys had a few questions, so happy to answer it. All right, so going over your questions. First question: what initially got you into strongman? So originally, after college, I wrestled for 10 years, needed an athletic outlet, was kind of on the search of kind of like what would be interesting outside of work. And the job I had at the time, I was working at a Boston sports club, and a gentleman approached me saying that he thought I would be a great fit for bodybuilding. Would you want to try out this bodybuilding course? So I thought that was pretty interesting. So I signed up and started learning a little more about bodybuilding and what it took to put on a prep, posing, everything about that. But within a month, the coach thought that strongman was a good cross trainer for bodybuilding. So we trained events for a whole day, and then they said they had a contest coming up like in 2 weeks, and they thought I would be a great fit for it. So signed up, competed, and this is in 2012. Thought strongman was the bee's knees and way better than bodybuilding. So I started going that route. So I did 2 competitions and 3 competitions, and then the rest is history. But what initially got me into competing was knowing that there was a 231 class at the time, because I always watched kind of the Strongman days when I was in college. It was the peak Marius and then the rise of Z. So towards that era, and I've always kind of saw some of the old ones kind of in passing on ESPN. But when I found out there was a 105 class, I'm like, this could be something that I could do. And then I've been hooked ever since. Good question. A question from one of my clients, not a Q&A, but active recovery days and post-workout days, or post-workout recovery. So good question. Of course, I can go into depth about that, but just to kind of touch on it, I think sometimes some light stretching or some abdominal work or correctives, some things where helps kind of open the range of motion. This can also be done before the workout. But for the most part, good post-out workout, depending on when you work out. I like the evenings, some people like the mornings or middays. But like, for instance, like active walks and getting good hydration. On the non-days, thinking about maybe some recovery methods like maybe ice bath or heat and sauna. Sometimes, of course, sometimes there's always a different article about it, but I think in the end, doing something difficult or something that's going to burn calories is going to help you get fit one way or the other. And then, yeah, I should make a bigger video of that, so I'll talk on that. But for the most part, I would say whatever I can usually kind of fit in when I'm not working. Do you train? All right. Do you train again, and what comps do you have? So yeah, been actively competing, and then to finish out kind of my year, I was mentioning before in the video, I'm going to do a show in Italy coming up in 2 weeks, going for the log record and doing a full show, and then competing at Italy's Strongest Man a few weeks after that. Top 5 strongman events you would like to see in your next comp, and 3 that you don't. Let's start with the don'ts. Of course, I'm not a big love for throwing, even though I got space for it now, and I probably should start throwing again. Don't usually love max distances, but I did enjoy training the shield carry for Giants Live for this past Europes. So, but usually that's not one of my favorites. And then sometimes elevated deadlifts, like elevated front deadlifts, is not usually my favorite either. Not just a good angle for me, but for the most part, those are probably my 3. But top 5 events I want to see, I would love to do a log ladder in a competition. Fingers is always fun. Like maybe a heavy yoke into maybe more log pressing, or a heavy yoke into like farmers is always pretty cool. I would like to get another run at the power stones, especially touch the Giants Live power stone set, power stairs set. And then one other event, I think I'd like to give a front hole a try. If there's ever a chance to do a circus dumbbell, even a ladder, or just for an event at Giants. And then, yeah, you know what? Like a plane pull, a truck pull, at a high level show would be really cool too. And then other questions, which pizza is your favorite? I would say usually probably a nice margarita pizza, but depending on where I am, if it's in Italy, even just the classics, like a margarita, even just something kind of just light out of the hot oven is usually pretty awesome, especially like the stone-fired ovens. But usually kind of sometimes like a 4 cheese or a sausage or pepperoni, usually my favorites. How did the transition from 105 to open treat you as not the tallest athlete? Yeah, I think it's been a pretty good transition. I think there's still work to be done, but I'm so far happy with kind of my progress and what I've been doing. When I started, I was probably in around like the mid 250s, and now I'm upwards to 310, 315. So it's definitely been a great transition. And of course, I've done some pretty cool competitions already. But not being the tallest athlete, yeah, I would say I had to press the stones. The stone series are pretty tall for me. But, it's one of those things you just have to adapt and get used to. It's throwing events, especially against guys with long arms and like tall levers, like let's say like a Tom Stolman. Like, of course, I'm never going to be able to beat Tom, but I can always do the best that I can those type of events. Next question. won't you do Glasgow comp, especially without a deadlift? First, I need an invitation, but even regardless, I think I want to just kind of focus on what I have right now. That's what I can kind of handle the current bandwidth. But yeah, the Glasgow show looks like it was pretty cool. I did notice that there wasn't a deadlift, but even I do enjoy kind of the deadlift events at Giants, especially something like a ladder. I would like to do that, give that a try, and be able to finish all 5 sets. Will you ever deadlift at least 1,000 pounds? Well, I hope so. But first I got to deadlift at least 900 pounds. I think that would be a first goal, at least 400 kilos. I never really had the aspiration to have the 1,000. I did do a 1,000-pound trap bar. I know that's different. I know it was 15 inches, but I thought that was pretty cool for me. But I think I want to hit 440 or hit 880 first before I go after something like 1,000. Is your goal to win at least one major title before you throw in the towel? You know what? I did have kind of success when I was kind of peaking at 105 kilo. I did kind of win that World's Strongest Man. That did mean a lot to me. Won a show like Clash on the Coast. Won two America's Strongest Man titles. So I feel like in that sense, those were like what filled the gap for the major titles. But before I could say I can win a major title at heavyweight, I need to be at those major titles. I've only been to one World's Strongest Man, and I've been to a couple Giants live. So I would like to kind of get to those big shows, and then maybe start thinking if I can win those titles. But I want to at least be there and say I competed at those shows before I throw the towel. Are you doing the Magnus vs. Magnuson Classic in November? That is a great show. But I think he has a kind of a qualification system, and I think if it's too late in November, I think I'm not going to be able to accommodate that right now. Do you train to increase your max log, or are you trained to be well-rounded on all overhead events? Right now, since I was in the off season, I kind of picked on something that just what's going to be fun for me. Normally, I'm a little more. I jump around between different overheads, but I really focused on the log recently, especially kind of my strict power. And then I can start kind of developing some other items, but I really wanted to increase my strict power. So what is your least favorite event to see in a comp? Is there something that you dread? Yeah, if I saw some throwing events on there, I wouldn't be too excited. Usually, that's probably what I dread the most. All right, guys, that's today's video. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support over this years, and looking to make this fall a very strong and very Italian fall. So let's see if we can execute, hit some big trainings, hit a big log, and the rest will be history. Thank you to all the support, guys. Special shout out to my family. Special shout out to my wife. My wife's so great. She is the best. And yeah, of course, we're really happy for the big things in December, as we get ready, or we get ready for parenthood. Thank you guys. Until next time, everybody, stay strong.